I have been on YouTube for probably 10 years now, and I have not seen a whole lot of success. But recently, I had a video do very well. It's gotten over 1,000 views. When on average, the things I post get around 10 to 12 views, sometimes even worse than that. I remember complaining, oh my goodness, this has been up for 24 hours, it's only got 2 views. I'm pretty sure it counts me watching it as one of them. So I want to talk about my experience with hitting upon a successful video idea. That's what I would like to talk about. This is JARHUMOR speaking. I'm a cartoonist who has seen a little bit of success in the past, mostly through designing t-shirts and doing artwork for other people. When it comes to the YouTube, I've been very experimental with doing different types of videos, different weird stuff that I thought was funny and interesting, but none of it had to do with anything other people were talking about. It was very original, and I feel like the YouTube algorithm, and I can't speak for the last 10 years, but definitely right now, it doesn't care about you being original. And there's a lot of things that people who know a lot more than me will say about the algorithm and about engagements and comments and likes, etc., etc. But what happened was, I noticed that YouTube, because now I watch more YouTube than I did 5 years ago. I don't watch television anymore. I watch DVDs of old TV shows. I watch DVDs of old movies. But I don't watch streaming services. And the only sort of thing that I watch that is modern is YouTube. And there's a lot of different variety of YouTubers that I watch. And I noticed a few of the regular pop culture guys started talking about this TV show called Starfleet Academy that come out and everybody's making fun of and says it sucks. And like everything else that comes out in Hollywood, it's mediocre, and it's one of those let's take an IP and try to make it for young people that have never heard of this and don't really care, rather than making something new for young people. But I digress. That's not what we're talking about today. So I saw a lot of the normal pop culture people talking about this. I thought nothing of it. Funny videos, they're making fun of it. That's fine. Then I started noticing some of the other people that I follow also started talking about the show, and I'm like, these people don't normally talk about pop culture and TV shows. What is going on here? Why does it seem like everybody's talking about this TV show? At least a lot of people, and YouTube keeps, once you watch one video about a thing that YouTube's excited about, it will just keep sending you videos. And I started thinking about this, and I said, well, I haven't watched this show. I have no interest in watching this show, but I am a fan of Star Trek. I do like the Star Trek. What if I took some of the things I've heard about the show and just make some funny sort of, I don't know, just say some funny stuff. Be entertaining, show your own personality, and then, and this was the idea I had, then talk about something completely different. And I did. I started talking about being an independent artist. I tied it in with something I actually wanted to talk about, which is what I like talking about in these talks, is about being an independent artist. So I started talking about, you need to cancel your streaming subscriptions, give that money to independent artists. It's very much like myself, and here's my Patreon. And I also showed off some of my cartoon stuff. I did like a little sketch. I have this little Edna Mode doll from the little woman, the designer woman from The Incredibles. I did a little sketch showing some of my cartoon stuff. Talked about being an artist. And it was only 8 minutes long, and I'm like, this is good. I like this. After I finished it, I had to watch it a couple times, going, this is funny. This is good. And I did start by talking about the show. It's not clickbait. I heard someone say, one of these YouTube expert guru guys goes like, it's not clickbait if you deliver on the promise of the title of the video. And I did. The title of the video, Starfleet Academy is lit. JK didn't watch. We are the arts now. That is what I decided to title this video. because I said I even pretended to say a bunch of positive things. I decided to go against the grain, and kind of just say, just to be funny. I went against the grain and just tried to say positive things about a show I never watched. But I got to talk about some of the stuff I found at thrift stores and everything like that. It was very personality driven, which I think is important in this time of age. People throw around a lot of buzzwords like authenticity, right? Intimacy, right? With the audience. Sure. But you can't just use those as buzzwords. You have to believe it. You have to actually want to make a connection with the audience. You have to actually want to make something that's not just entertaining, but is true to yourself. And that's what I feel like. Number one, it's a trending topic. Number two, when people were watching this video, because not only did people the algorithm push it out there and I get far more views than normal, people liked it. It's sitting at about 1.1 thousand. I don't know. When I look at the thing, all it says is 1.1. I don't know the exact number. And then it was at like 40 likes. To me, that's huge. I know those are not like incredible. I was bragging about it at my day job, which is working at a grocery store, because once again, I'm not a successful cartoonist. So I work at a grocery store. One of the guys I talked to goes, "Oh wow, can I get your autograph?" This is when it was at just 100 views. I was excited when it was at 100 views. Because like I said, most of my videos only get about 10, right? And so I'm already excited. And I'm like, wow, it really will push something out there just because other people are talking about it and people have an interest in it. It's very, very much, it wants to put those interests out there. I don't have an interest in this show. I'm not a commentator. That's another important thing. I think a lot of people would take this in and go, well, I don't care about this thing. Neither do I. It's like, well, that's not the kind of videos I make. That's not the kind of videos I make. And guess what? Nobody cares about the type of videos I make. No one cares about my originality. No one cares that I'm funny. No one like I used to get these comments about 5 or 6 years ago. People would discover my channel. I don't know how. And they would say things like I don't understand why more people don't haven't subscribed to this. Why are more people aware of this? And it's like, I don't know. And once again, it's the almighty algorithm. I'm sorry, I'm having an emotional moment right now. My cat just jumped up on the couch. I'm sorry to break like this momentum, but my cat hurt herself months ago jumping up on the sink where she hurt her leg really bad, and she's been kind of just like disabled. She has like this weird little walk that she does, and she has not been able to jump up on furniture for months. And this is the first time I have ever seen her jump. And it's because I'm over here talking and she wanted to see what I was doing. She jumped up on the couch. What sucks is now I have to get everything off the couch, because I was looking at the silver lining of having a disabled cat was that now the surfaces in my home are safe from her. I have to move these records. I bought a bunch of records from the thrift store, which I was excited about. Dude, I'll tell you how good of a week that I'm having this week. I got over 1,000 views on my video, and I found the Back to the Future soundtrack on vinyl at a thrift store for $2, and it's in incredible shape. What you doing, baby? Where you going? Oh, she jumped down. What, there's not crap up on the couch now that you can mess with? I'm so proud of her, though. She jumped up on the couch. That's her couch. That was always her spot. Oh, I'm so proud of her now. With no trouble, and I digress. Let's talk about YouTube. Let's talk about the algorithm. I'm having a really good week. Videos doing well, finding cool stuff at the thrift store. Cat's doing a little better. It's nice. So the whole thing, the way I was thinking about this video in my head after the fact was, I'm like, wow, this was like a Trojan horse. I jumped onto a trending topic but completely subverted. I don't like using that word. That sounds like that sounds way too fancy for what I did. I tricked people into watching something, but because people could tell, this is my theory anyways, I can't really say what people thought about this, but they are saying things. I'm getting mostly positive comments about this, and I'm starting to get a few negative comments. Once I hit about the 1,000 mark, I started getting the negative comments, and I'm like, that's great. I'm like, that means it's reaching people that I normally wouldn't reach. I'm like, that's great. Don't ever look at a negative comment as being bad. That's called engagement. Okay, if they're mad at you, that's good. The YouTube loves that. The algorithm wants that. The robot's like, ooh, they really hate this guy. Let's push this out even further. So, but I can't be really nasty and mean on the internet. It's not really my nature. And I don't know what to say to these comments. Like, I kind of want to say, well, I don't think you're wrong. Thank you for showing up and calling me names. I appreciate it. Nothing I'm not used to. Back in the day when I had a little bit of notoriety for some of my T-shirt designs and some of my artwork that went out there and went viral and was posted on websites and things like that. I got a lot of negative, that's what you get. When you get out there, you get a lot of that negative stuff comes back to you. But I said, okay, this is like a Trojan horse. I jumped on a topic, and then I said what I wanted to say, and I was true to myself. And I think people appreciated that. I was also funny. And there's this other thing I used to do stand-up comedy, and when I did stand-up comedy, and I don't know if this is true of other comedians, because maybe new comedians don't feel this way, but back in the day, when you had a 5-minute set, you'd start strong and you'd finish strong. But you'd always you want to end with the strongest bit. You want to have your closer. You want to have this joke. It's like the best joke you came up with. That's going to be the last joke you tell. That is not how it works with the internet. You better tell the best joke you have first. You tell that joke first and reel people in. You got to hook people in. And I was writing all through the week this thing. I had this idea. I was telling people at work. The young people at work helped me with a lot of the young people slang. I don't know what low key means or no cap. And they were teaching me all the slang. I was writing all of it down. I'm 44 years old. I don't speak that way. I think sociologists would say I'm technically a millennial because I was born in 1982. But I identify as Gen X. I am living my truth. If you say otherwise, you're oppressing me. I feel like I'm Gen X. I feel like a lot of my sensibilities, a lot of what I like is very Gen X. I could have easily been born in the 70s and still appreciated the same movies and TV shows and that. I watched a lot of reruns. A lot of the stuff I watched, even in the 80s or into the 90s, was stuff that was originally on the air in the 70s and that. I love movies that came out the exact year I was born, and things that came out years before I was born. Like, I love Jaws. Jaws came out before I was born, but I love that film. So do other Gen Xers. So do millennials. I mean, but there you go. But this TV show was trying to, I don't even know what the terms anymore are. I think it's Zoomers or Gen Z. And then Gen Alpha's the new. I don't even know what Gen Alpha is. I don't even know if that is. Are those like little kids, like babies? Or are they the ones watching Baby Shark and Coco Melon? Which also people I work with are telling me I need to watch these things. They're like, you need to do parodies of those, and I go, that's not a bad idea. I don't know why I said this in my pie. Don't steal my idea. but yeah. So all during the week, I started writing a script with the kids at work, and it was horrible. The original plan was just me in front of a backdrop pretending to be a young person reviewer saying a bunch of slang. Yo, what up, fam? It's your boy here to tell you that Starfleet Academy is lit, and that was the original plan. I have my weekend comes up. My weekend is actually during the week, so I had my last day. I had my day off. And it was my next day was going to be the day off. So it was the weekend had started. I said, all right, I'm going to film this tonight. I get everything set up, and the microphone on my camera, the little plug-in microphone, It's like called a Mini Pro something, like Mini Mic Pro or something, that hooks into my Samsung Galaxy, that does a little wireless little lavalier mic. And it wasn't working. It wouldn't connect. And I go, oh no, what's going on? So I'm going in, dude, I'm getting into developer mode on my phone, trying to figure out what's wrong with the USB settings, everything like that. And I couldn't, and I just went to bed. I said, all right, screw it. I'll try to film it tomorrow night. Because I got to film at night, because right now, unfortunately, I'm recording this actually in the middle of the day, and you might hear cars going by and stuff like that. I didn't want that, even though that lavalier mic's pretty kick-ass and it gets rid of a lot of the ambient sound. I still didn't want to be distracted by neighbors or anything, or like I don't want to stop for like a dog barking or anything like that. So I like to wait till like 1 o'clock in the morning. During the week, 1 o'clock in the morning. That's when I like to film. So I said, all right, I'll do it tomorrow. I get up the next day, go through my normal routine, et cetera, recorded, I think, a podcast, one of these. I guess I'm going to have to just embrace the term podcast. These are podcasts. I like to call them talks, but whatever. Embracing the new media, this passive listening that you're doing, this second screen content. I'm learning all these things, right? And I started thinking to myself, I want to do it different. Well, I start messing around with my phone again, trying to get the mic to work. I got it to work. You know how I got it to work? By blowing into the little port, like it was a Nintendo cartridge. I just started blowing in the damn thing, because evidently I'd gotten a piece of lint, and that's why it wouldn't connect. And I figured it out. I just started just into the thing, and it worked. The most low-tech solution. I was in developer mode on my phone. I could have possibly done something. I'm very nervous. I know more about computers than I do cell phones. So I was fairly confident. I think I know what I'm doing. I'm like, I think if I debug the USB, I'm not going to cause any sort of hopefully not cause any type of problems. Allow debugging. Okay, I do that. What's the setting for this? Oh, do I what? Blowing into it worked. So that night, though, as I'm starting to get ready to do this video, I'm like, I don't like this. I want to change this. I want to do something different. So I changed locations. Rather than using my backdrop, my painted backdrop, and making it look like I'm a reviewer, I said, sit at your desk in front of your drafting table. Don't put on the costume you were going to wear as like some young, what up thing. Dress as yourself. Just wear your t-shirt. And just... I had Spock ears on. I had pointy ears. They're like elf ears. They're like Halloween ears. I just went into... I have like a tote full of like costume stuff and Halloween, like stuff that I buy after Halloween at a discount. And I had these pointy ears. I'm like, these are perfect. These Spock ears. I grabbed a bunch of my Star Trek toys that I have, and a bunch of DVDs that I had found at the thrift store, Voyager and Next Generation, and some of the movies. I think it was like First Contact and that, like, some of the, it's the ones that I think are fun. I think First Contact's fun, and in a weird sort of way. It's not the greatest Star Trek, but it's fun. And I can't remember the other one, Nemesis. Star Trek Nemesis was the other DVD that I had. So I grabbed a bunch of stuff. I sat down at my desk. I still had my notes from what I wanted to talk about, and I kind of improvised some stuff. And I used the original parts of the original idea, and then I came up with something that was what I felt was, and I feel weird using this word, but authentic. It was me. It was real. It was who I am, and it was funny. And I know when I'm being funny and when I'm not. One who is in the business of humor hopes that, anyways. But I liked it, and I shot it in an hour. It took me an hour to film, and it took me 2 hours to edit. And then by about 6 a.m., I had a completed product. I watched it, like I said, 3 times, just in amazement. I'm like, oh my goodness, this works, and it's so much better than the original idea. I'm like, oh my god. So I put it up. And at the same time, my last podcast, I set it to public. It was private because I post them on Patreon first, even though I don't have any people currently as of this recording supporting me. I do have a few members, and I appreciate that. If people just sign up for free, that helps me with whatever. It shows that someone's interested in something. And so I had those going at the same time. Still to this moment, a week later, that podcast episode is sitting at 12 views with only 2 likes, and I think one of those likes is mine. I think I liked my own video. Like, maybe if I just get things going, other people, it's like being at a lame party. It's like, well, so maybe if I get up and start dancing, everybody else is starting to dance. And then the other video that I think I liked, my own Starfleet video, the one that did very well, because I'm like, all right, I want to get the momentum going. Let's see if I can get this. Maybe this will work. Maybe it won't. I had no expectations that it was going to do anything. The thing that I loved the most was the turnaround. I'm like, I made that in 3 hours. I'm like, that's incredible. The other types of home vlog things that I do, I call them artist vlogs, because it's like me at my drafting table, me at my workstation, making cartoons and things like that. Those things took me weeks to make, because whatever I'm working on, I would just stop and kind of get a little footage here and there, and then hobble it together at the end of a couple week period, and I'd get like 20, I think one of them's 15 minutes, the other one's like 18. I think the Halloween one's like 18 minutes long. That's kind of long for someone to invest in a person they don't know, into a YouTuber. God, I really don't like calling myself that. But I think it's a little bit of time where I'm like, sometimes when you look at that, like 8 minutes, I'll give this person 8 minutes, see, entertain me, you fool. You have 8 minutes to win my favor. And I think that works. I think 8 to 10 minutes is a good, especially if you're struggling, like I will continue to do, because I'm writing another one. All this week I wrote another one, and I plan on filming it this week. Something else could go wrong. Some other piece of technology could crap the bed. I may hate this thing. It may suck, but I still want to put it up. But it may not work, because it's something people are talking about, but it's not like this. It's not this. Everybody's talking about it. Well, everybody is talking about it, but I kind of missed the boat on it. I don't know that anyone's talking about it right now. I don't know if the algorithm cares about this, but I feel like it's something I wanted to talk about. So I'm gonna try again. I might as well just tell you what it's about, even though you don't know the actual subject matter of what I want to say about it. I want to do a video about AI art, because I have feelings about AI art, and it really doesn't matter how I feel about AI art, because it's just going to keep going. And I kind of want to sum that up in the video. It's like, yeah, I don't like it, but someone's gonna use this. Especially going to use it. I didn't like CGI when it came out, especially CGI animation. I think traditional hand-drawn animation looks a lot better. And now you have something like AI that can actually replicate hand-drawn animation. And it's like, how do you feel about that? I'm like, I don't know how I feel about that. It's not, you're missing the point of what I was saying about hand-drawn. But it's like, I don't know. I'm going to work on this video. I feel like I have ideas. But the thing about being an artist is you have to make choices. And that's a lot of what I'm going to say about AI art. I feel like AI art, if I could go off on a little tangent here that is relative to this conversation, it is. An artist makes choices. When you rely too much on technology, the technology starts making too many choices for you, you can become lazy. And I don't want to be a lazy artist anymore. I've been a lazy artist. I remember being a lazy artist. I would have never been able to make the comic strips that I made 20 years ago if it wasn't for Photoshop. That's how lazy of a cartoonist I was. I was drawing things. I was hand drawing things, scanning them into the computer and copying and pasting them. Why do I need to draw that character 4 times when they're the same in each panel? I'll just draw them once, copy them over to the next panel, and just make a little talking balloon. Like it was terrible. And the artwork shows I'm not displeased with the work that I did. I'm glad I did something. rather than doing nothing. But I do think my older work is ugly. But in contrast to what I do now, there's a sense of pride that I at least moved forward as an artist. So I don't dislike it. But a lot of the stuff in the book that I did called Awful Movies from Earth, a lot of my bad movie comics and everything like that, they're pretty bad visually. They're kind of funny. I was always good at writing like funny type stuff. I think I've even gotten better at that. But I was a lazy cartoonist, and the technology was making me lazy. And I feel that a lot of people think they can get away with calling themselves an artist by telling a computer to be the artist. I don't like that. It's like conceptual artists. I never liked conceptual artists. Conceptual artists are people who come up with a concept and then hire someone else that's more skilled than they are to actually make it happen because they can't make it themselves. And then the person who came up with the idea gets the credit. They show up at the art gallery. They get to get all the praise. And the worker, the craftsman, the real artist doesn't get any recognition whatsoever. I don't like conceptual art. I don't understand why I don't like mainstream modern art to begin with. Like, I don't really particularly like art galleries. I've found more interesting paintings at thrift stores than I have seen in modern art galleries done by amateurs. Because once again, there was an artist making choices. So if you're going to use this Trojan horse technique, my advice to you is to not do what I have seen. Do not automate it. Do not be lazy about this. Do not go, hey AI, what's some trending topics right now? Okay, well, write me a script that people would like and everything like that. There are people that do that. These people are horrible. They're not creatives, and they're flooding the market with crap. And this is what I want to say in my video, something I'm passionate about. All right, I got my own crap that I want to make, and I actually put actual thought and into it, and I made choices as an artist. All right, and these people are just asking, "Hey, robot, make art for me. I'm going to put it on the internet, and I'm going to get all the recognition." I don't like it. I know eventually it will be integrated as a tool that's going to make fantastic things when you have real artists who use it, but it's not there yet. It's not. We don't have the morality yet to use such a tool. We're not emotionally prepared to do it. It's like giving young people cell phones, with apps and getting them on social media, and it's like it ruins their life rather than inspires them to, rather than connecting with people that share their interests and doing positive things with it. There's the ones that just end up just feeding into some type of negative loop. That could be said of a lot of bubbles and echo chambers and everything else that goes on the internet. And I like looking. That's the interesting thing also about the people I follow on YouTube. So they have this feature where you can either let people know who you're subscribed to or not let them know. And I change it to don't let people know who I'm subscribed to, because I subscribe to a lot of people I disagree with. I subscribe to a lot of people that I don't even like, but I want to see what they're talking about. And that's when I saw people I don't like and don't agree with were talking about this topic as well as the people that I like, and I'm like, huh? There's a lot of people talking about this. It's like everybody was talking about it. I go, huh? I'm like, okay. So it's a weird type of thing. I don't know if you want to take it as far as I have with subscribing to people you don't like, but it's a good way of getting different points of views about things and seeing what's going on out there and how people are perceiving a thing, because perception is reality, of course. So I don't know what the next thing is going to be. For right now, I'm going to do this video that I wanted to do. I've been wanting to do this for a couple months. My original vision of it was far more grander. Keep it simple. That's my other advice. Keep it simple. Get it done quickly, because like especially if you're jumping on a trend, and I'm saying with the last video, the idea was to do it as quickly as possible. Which is why I shot it in an hour, edited it in 2 hours before I went to bed, 6 o'clock in the morning, headed up on the YouTube, right? You want to do it quickly, so you want to keep it simple, but you also want to make it interesting and entertaining. Those are creative choices you have to make. You want to make it interesting. I put my best joke up front, like I said, hooked people in, the one that made the people at work laugh the hardest. Put that joke up front. Because normally I would save that. That was going to be my closer. That was going to be the last thing I said in the video. Ended up being the first thing. Of course, you've got to reel them in. And there's a lot of, like, the audience retention. There's a lot of, like, people that tuned out after the first minute, which I'm okay with. Because when you look at, like, 40 people actually gave it a like, it's got, like, a dozen comments right now. When you factor all that in, you're like, well, I did reach some people. Some other people clicked on it and clicked away after a minute. They gave it a shot. It wasn't for them. They moved on. That's fine. That's fine. But at least the damn robots at YouTube, the damn algorithm, at least it pushed it out to a new group of people. At least it gave me a shot to put my face in front of other people's eyeballs. My video got out there. That's the important thing that we've got to think of as creative people who are dealing with this new world, this new digital whatever dystopia. I don't know. Is that you, whatever the robot wants, that's what we have to do. And that's sad. But once again, making this video is like making fun of the robot. I'm saying, like, all right, I know what you want, robot. Here you go. New TV show that came out. Hollywood did it again and all that. I know what you love to push out in front of people. Here you go. Here it is. And guess what? It's not even about that. It's about something I want to talk about. It's something I show off my artwork. I show off who I am. I tell people who I am. They know who I am. They come back. The people who like and are interested in they come back. They want to see the other videos. They want to do the other things. And I got to repeat this over and over again. Consistency is the other thing. I've got to get consistent with this. Things are going to happen, I know, from week to week where I'm not going to get it done. Life stuff is going to get in the way. Sure. I can't let that happen too many weeks. I can't let the excuse of I don't feel like it slow me down. I wrote something on my whiteboard recently. This was the revelation I had. It's, you are never going to feel like doing it. Don't overthink it, just make it. All right? You're never going to feel like doing certain things. There's plenty of things I got to do in my life right now. I don't feel like doing them. That's what I got to do. So, it's what I got to do. I think I'm going to hit the pause button. I'm drinking my little tiny apple juice. I'm trying to regulate my blood sugar. I feel like years of eating poorly are catching up with me. And now I'm trying to eat better. So I got these little tiny apple juices. They're organic. They got a picture of Big Bird on on them. I'm gonna sip my... There are two choices. I can either hit the button or you can get juice sipping ASMR. Well, I know what the internet likes, so this is juice sipping ASMR. I'm making like the yummy sound. Is that disturbing? I apologize to all of you using headphones right now. Oh, all right. I gotta drink this juice. Shake it around. I got this little straw. Gotta get in that corner. Get that. Bringing me back to when I was a kid. I haven't had a juice box in years. But I decided to buy these things. And that is not medical advice, by the way. If you have problems with blood sugar, pre-diabetic, diabetes, hyperglycemia, or hypoglycemia, please consult a doctor and not a cartoonist on the internet. All right? I noticed that when my blood sugar feels low or something like that, I gotta drink the little apple juice. I did learn some things, though. Please don't take any of this as medical advice. This is things that I've read on the internet. That a lot of stress that I've been dealing with lately affects my body. It releases things like adrenaline and cortisol, which that's why I can't lose weight. That's why my blood sugar, it either drops or it raises. I can't remember which one it is. I think it drops. And I got to make sure I also was trying to eat a low carb diet. Evidently that wasn't good for my blood sugar. I need carbs for something. But once again, this is just advice from the internet. I'm not giving you this advice. I'm telling you that these are things I read. And I don't know they're true or not. And that would be the next point that I would make with this talk. Everything I'm saying right now is my experience. When you're out there on the internet, what you are hearing is a person's experience. That is not the truth. We've got to get closer to the truth. I have to still look at what the truth is about this video. What I feel the truth is that the robots pushed this video out because everyone was talking about it. Hell, for all I know, and this is only speculation, maybe Paramount pays them. Like, if anyone's talking about our show, just push it out there so everybody's talking about it. There's no such thing as bad publicity. Maybe that's the truth. Maybe they have a deal with them. Maybe. I don't know. That's speculation. But that's a possibility. And if so, shoot, you didn't spend that money. This isn't you're not paid to, you're not paying to get your video out there, which I hear you can also do, and I'm thinking about doing in the future, is paying for the algorithm that, and I hate that type of stuff. That's why I stopped going to open mic nights when they started charging comedians and performers to be at open mic nights. I'm like, we're providing free entertainment and you're making money off of food and liquor. Like, you're welcome. But it's like, I stopped going to open mic nights that charged. And I don't like the idea of paying to push the stuff out there, but it might be something I have to do because it's my business. Paying for advertising is not an unheard of thing in a business. But right now, this whole jumping on a trend. Years ago, I read this book called Guerrilla PR. And I remember in it, I'll tell you how long ago this was. It was on cassette. I found it on cassette. And I remember, I think I was driving. My mother at the time had like an Elantra with a tape deck. And I was using her car. And so I would just listen to that wherever I drove. Because she had the little tape deck in the car. And I remember them talking about what was the very, it was some type of thing was going on, and a business saw this thing was going on. This is as vague as I can get because I don't remember the story, but they started handing out sandwiches or something. Let's say I'll just make up the story of what it was. I just the point we'll get there. Some thing was in the news, and first responders and firefighters were responding to this thing, and a local deli decided to make sandwiches for the firefighters and hand them out to the guys dealing with this thing that was going on, right? And the deli got a bunch of positive press for supporting the firefighters and everything like that. That is kind of like this, in that the news was already talking about the thing. The deli decided to be part of the story. What you're doing is you're deciding to be part of the story. You're not doing something as altruistic as handing out sandwiches to firefighters. you're just making videos on the internet. But hopefully the idea is there that I'm trying to make, is that you're attaching yourself. You're hitching on to this wagon. Is that it? You're hitching your wagon to the thing? I don't remember how that metaphor goes. I don't have a lot of experience with wagons. But you're becoming part of the story. And I think that's fascinating. While if you can do what I do, though, rather than just be another talking head repeating the same things over and over again, if you can be original and show your own personality. My favorite YouTubers are all about personality. I don't care what they're talking about. Some of the people that I will listen to them talk about something for 30 minutes, I don't care what they're talking about. I just like them. I like who they are. And I would like to be that for someone else. That's one of my goals. I both consciously think about it, and then you don't have to think about it because you're just being yourself, if that makes any sense. But it is something you're aware of, that you want to make sure you're yourself to a degree that society can handle. It's like you don't want everything to be like just, oh guys, I don't know what to tell you, had diarrhea again today. I don't know that's necessarily you need to tell everything, but it's like how I paused to actually tell you that my cat was getting up on the couch. That was not planned. That was organic. That shocked me. I didn't even want to stop because I'm like, this has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But it's true. That's the first time in like 6 months I have seen her jump up on furniture. She tried the other day on the bed. She got her front paws up there, and I had to help her up onto the bed. And I said, all right, come up here. And I petted her a little bit, and she hung out on the bed. And then she wanted down, and I lifted her up and put her down because it was too, I felt it was too big of a jump. I baby her too much. I'm so glad I never had kids. They would be awful. They'd be fat, lazy, and stupid. They'd be awful. This cat is awful. She has an awful personality. She's a diva, and it's all my fault. I raised her completely wrong. So now I digress, because now I got to try to remember what the hell I was saying. Yeah, personality. I feel like if you're making stuff that really is showing who you really are as an artist, and I think in this day and age, especially with a bunch of AI, if you're an artist who makes, music or you do comedy or you do cartoon stuff like me, you want to show your work, but you also want to do other things that show your personality so that the people out there know there's a real human being behind all of this. I'll tell you one more story before I go, and this is hopefully going to make it into the AI video. I picked up at the Goodwill, at the thrift store, like I go to the Goodwill way too much, but that's a whole nother thing. I picked up this book about Dungeons and Dragons. It's called like a beginner's guide to being a dungeon master or something like that. And I noticed that the cover, I didn't notice it when I bought it. I just bought it. I just flipped through it and I go, no, I'm interested in this. I never played D&D, but people always told me I would make a good dungeon master because I'm very creative and I tell stories. And so I'm like, I want to read this. Maybe it has some inspiration here. Usually I pick up books that I think will inspire my work. Little did I know, when I started actually looking at this book when I got home, is that the cover was definitely made by AI. And I'm like, all right, well, they hired someone. They probably hired some kid off of Fiverr or something, and he just did like an AI cover, because I can tell by like the 20-sided dies got weird symbols on it. There's little things that you'd notice. The back font is like completely centered. It's like, it's terrible, and it's got this weird glow around it, and I'm like, this is horrible. I'm like, I feel like an AI would have done a better job at least with that. So it probably was, the artwork is AI, and then like a human being slapped the text onto it. I've designed book covers for people before, so I know what I'm doing, and I'm like, this looks terrible. Started reading the inside of it. I noticed there's no credit for who designed the cover. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. The people that I know I make covers for, they like putting my name, even if it's just JARHUMOR or my real name on the book. That's what happens. I'm like, all right, that's interesting. Then I start reading the book, and I'm like, this is pretty dry. It's not like, I mean, you think if someone was interested in being a dungeon master, or they had been, like a D&D enthusiast, and they design, campaigns and that, they would have a sense of flair and drama into their introduction. Welcome, travelers. I am about to take you on a journey, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't read like that at all. It reads like stereo instructions, to quote Beetlejuice. Or Alec Baldwin in Beetlejuice. It does. It's very dry. It's very much like an article you're reading off the internet. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I bet you someone had an AI write this. I bet you it's AI written all the way through. It's a sleazy cash grab. So I looked it up on the internet. Someone is out there charging $30 or $50. I saw one for as much as $49.95 for this AI written, AI cover created book. I paid $2 for it at the Goodwill, and I feel I got ripped off. Should have been 99 cents. But it is interesting, and I'm going to put it in the. I think I'm going to use it for the video that I'm planning on filming later on tonight. I don't ever like to say this is what I'm going to do, because I may not do it. You never know. You have to be flexible. The last thing I want to say: be flexible. Go easy on yourself. Life stuff will come up. You do want to schedule. You do want to be consistent, but you want to be flexible. If you miss a day, you want to make sure you don't miss 2 days. That's what they say about things like exercise. I try to do that when it comes to my art. I've been doing very good this week. I get up in the morning, I give myself a little bit more extra time, and I start working on cartoon stuff before I have to go work at a grocery store. I don't always have time to do it. Sometimes all I do is just draw the panels, and I don't actually fill the panels with any artwork. Yesterday, I only got one panel done. I spent a total of 11 minutes on cartooning yesterday because I was running late, but I tried to get that 11 minutes in. And some days I don't get any minutes in. But I try as the best I can to get usually around 20 minutes at the very least of some type of cartooning in the morning. Over the weekend, I'll probably do more stuff and everything like that. Got a lot of life stuff, a lot of house cleaning and various things, but you know, the life stuff is always going to be there, and you've got to work in the art into the life stuff. Find some time where you're not going to be disturbed, and you can get that sort of thing done. I wish you all the best of luck. If you're listening to this, I can only assume that you are someone who's trying to create some type of stuff out there. I don't like to use the word content. It feels gross. You're making art. You're making entertainment. I prefer the word entertainment over content. You know, that feels very. That's pretty much what that AI book is. It's content. The pages do have words on them. The words do make sense. There are things, but it's like it doesn't have any soul. There's no connection to something more meaningful, more spiritual, more fun. You know. Go out there, make some stuff, show your personality. Be flexible, don't be too hard on yourself, but at the same time, realize sometimes also you're never going to feel like doing it. You're just going to have to make the thing. So, I want to thank you so much for listening. You can find me on the social media at JARHUMOR or at jarhumor.com. There's a link to my Patreon probably in the description of this thing. Even if you can't give me any money, if you head on over there and just become a member, a bunch of the stuff that I'm putting up is just free for people that are members, just as a thank you for showing your support for an independent artist like myself who works at a grocery store. But I'm very proud of what I accomplished this week. It's not just that it did well, but that I found a way of doing things, and this is very much repeatable. It's repeatable for me. It's very much repeatable for you. And once again, thank you for listening, and break a leg, as they say in the theater. This is JARHUMOR signing off.